Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel with a daily disclosure. Myself, Ron Swanson, and we're joined today with Sheena, continuing on our, our review really of the way this Dr. Fia, a prominent character in the lore and saga that is the backstory of Julia, and this woman has been incredibly outspoken, like we covered yesterday, making some pretty wild statements. And by all means, everything that we are covering here is allegedly accusations and things like this that have been put out there by Dr. Fia and all of these things. There's very little going on in the world of backing it all up. I do believe now that she's declared that she's going to be going on a little vlogging tour to the UK. And it makes you wonder about these profiteering gangs that she speaks of, because I wonder what she's got planned in this alleged trip. But Sheena, thank you for being here. How are you doing today? Before we dive into it, how are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. Tired, but good. How are you?
I'm all right. Actually, I'm freaking awesome. I'm not going to lie. Like I am really, there's some things to get my teeth into at the moment. And we do like fighting the evils of the world, Sheena. So I'm doing great. Stressed. I mean, that kind of goes without saying with all this, but I'm good. Big shout out to the side chat. Hope you're all doing well. All the mods, the Sean Atwood crew, everyone that's here for or against. Julia Wandelt, as long as you're constructive with your views, we do not encourage an echo chamber here. So just be constructive with how you conduct yourself, and I'm sure we'll all have a fantastic day. I just want to say there's some key players appearing in my emails and my DMs who are just doing outstanding keyboard investigating, digging stuff up. You guys are you're killing it. So big shout out to the nameless and faceless badasses of the DMs and the emails. So hopefully, hang on a second. Hopefully, I'll have some news for you guys tomorrow. There is a couple of the other players in this that are quite outspoken on Twitter and things like this, that I'm working on getting some information for you guys. And what else? Really, we're here today to go into Dr. Fia and the reality of all this, because we heard Julia's response to her 2023 encounters with Dr. Fia, and it was pretty horrific reading, hearing everything she'd went through, all the rest of it. Even the fact that there was power of attorney in place, and I think a lot of people sort of misinterpret how much of a control that can give somebody over another person. And I just want to reiterate once again, myself, I am here for Julia to get answers about who she needs. I think at this point she's sat in a jail cell when there is a couple of individuals who are very much related to Julia, who are currently on the run, apparently, that could put an end to all of this very, very easily. Also, as well, there were some statements made about whether or not, if every person that came forward who thought that they were this missing girl, you can't expect Jerry McCann to run down to the nearest police station and do a DNA test. It doesn't work like that. It would be a case of just simply approving a DNA test from DNA on file. And yeah. So I want you guys to have the opportunity to ask some questions. Oh yeah, of course she does. Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting characters out there. Now, I want to give you guys a chance to ask some questions, and there's going to be some things which Sheena has got. Sheena has got a 50,000 screenshots to try and get through, and she's done her best. But I imagine there's going to be a list of questions that we'll be following up on that have receipts and things like this to go with them. But for now, how can we sit here and kind of take this woman's narrative about Julia, right, the way she wants us to, which is that it's gospel, when there's so many interesting articles out there about this Dr. Fia, the psychic detective. Do you think that she's another case of somebody who's just clutching for relevancy in the world? Do you think that she's going to try and make this her crown jewel of her career, keeping Julia being this outspoken enemy, if you will, of Julia?
Possibly. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what her motive is, but I'm sure it'll come out.
Yeah, I'm sure it will too. I think the claims were pretty severe with regards to Julia being a con artist, Julia knowing exactly what she's doing, these profiteering con gang members, and all of this kind of stuff. Do you think that even back then Julia had enough of an infrastructure to even warrant a suggestion of a group of con individuals? Because I felt like she was fairly isolated over there with Dr. Fia, right? Back in
Yeah.
2023. Yeah. Okay. Now, get your questions in, everybody, because hang on. Axinia, that's all currently, as far as we know, all taken care of. There's some weird stuff that I was talking to somebody about today, and I'm waiting on confirmation from the lawyer's end of this in writing. And I'll, as soon as I get that, I'll update everybody. But it's just more and more and more and more waiting. And I thought we would have heard something by now about the bail hearing date being moved up and what was going on there. But then you have to ask yourself, how much of this would they want Julia's lawyers, Serge, Julia herself, how much would they want out there in the public? I feel like a lot of this, Jenna, I can try and get that answered for you because I've heard circulating rumors. But I do believe, right, it's because one lawyer cannot represent two people in a case, right? So again, it sounds fishy, right? When you're like, where's the lawyer? But it's really a case of more lawyers coming in, if that makes sense. So I think that's maybe where it's gotten twisted from. But that was a good question to throw out there. Hang on a second.
I'm just gonna put my mic off and my camera. I need to fetch my baby.
Yeah,
no the camera.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Don't worry. Does Dr. Fia have power? I can't imagine she still will. Plus, is that only if she was in the US? I don't know. Can metadata check take adapted pics? And why would a so-called professional do this on a phone? Sorry, on the way to an appointment. Can we? I mean, metadata can check a lot of things in pictures, but it's more like dates the picture was edited or resaved, or the location it was resaved, and the device it was resaved on, rather than being like, oh, I can tell you that this is a Photoshop edit or anything like that. I would have thought Julia have got an independent lawyer. Well, I mean, you would think that if Julia thought she was going to get arrested, right? But I think I think she's lucky to have the lawyer that she's got. I mean, possibly. I don't know. How does the power of attorney end? I'll find out. Hang on. In Julia's situation smells rotten. Yeah, Rachel, it's wild. I mean, the amount of money that's been spent. I mean, again, I'm not sitting here saying, it's not a tragic thing. But I think the British public are becoming more and more aware of the sheer magnitude of the cost of the case. All right, 1 second. Oh, sugar.
So I am here in the background. I'm just, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm just going to go in and out of the mic, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem. I tell you what, man. The whole Madeleine McCann saga. And I'm not even talking about Julia right now. I'm Googling things. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Listen, do you know coincidences, right? You know how, like, when one person comes out in the Daily Mail and says 69.23. Also, I've not had a perm. My hair was in a really tight mad man bun. No, she's not out yet, Natasha. Sorry to tell you. Debbie, I've no idea. I'm sure any lawyer could request it, but I don't think they're legally obligated at this point. Interesting, Mr. Steeples. Interesting. It's how the sun rises and sets its rays upon the world is an interesting one. But again, it's a lot of chatter about it and things like that. I need to delve into it a little bit more. But I hope you're having a wonderful time if you're still in the south of France, Mr. Steeples. But fire away any questions. Anything I know the answer to, I'll give you the answer to. Right? See, that's the thing. Well, because I think it's difficult. It's different when somebody's unable to respond. You know, does that make sense? But I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You never know. You just don't know in a case like this. You just don't know in a case like this. You know, think about how many people were friends with people that turned out to have pure mad second lives. You just don't know. You know, that's me just keeping it real. I want answers for Julia, like I always have, about who Julia is, so that Julia knows. But it's never got anything to do with, you know, if the biggest missing child case in the world can somehow also get some closure or new leads or whatever out of anything, I'm all for that too. But I'm not saying the two have got anything to do with each other. But I do say that there's some timing of a few things that are going on right now. I wouldn't even say on the surface level media. I would say on like the semi-tattered end of the online tabloid media end of things that seem to be damn. Sorry, I'm just reading something, everybody. Sorry. Yeah, okay. I can't believe she's still inside either. Well, here's the thing, right? So also, Sheena, I apologize. I didn't even acknowledge when you spoke back there a minute ago. Good to have you back. Thank you very much for still being here. And yeah, I just wanted to update anyone else who's watching the pineapple. There is no progression on the pineapple.
No, but still the same.
It's still the same. Because here's the thing, right? We're very, very much invested in Julia, right? A lot of us are. And some of that is for reasons concerning this very famous family. reasons concerning a poor girl whose mystery still haunts the world. Gina, there's a pineapple in a cup behind Sheena that they're trying to grow into a pineapple plant, and it fascinates me. So that just in case you wonder what the pineapple comment was. We need answers on this DNA. I've sent out a bunch of messages, a bunch of emails and stuff like that. So hopefully someone will come back. But I think we need that explained, right? Because even if I need to know how prevalent 69.28% result is. I need to know how many more times we can do that test over and over and over again independently ourselves, right? Because if the DNA that it needs to be tested against is paperwork based in police files that are open to the public, then surely Julia will have the same paperwork, right? So then surely we can all conduct our own independent tests and they should all come back the same. And if that is the case, what does that mean? Is it massive? Is it nothing? Because regardless of where Julia is now, regardless of how everyone feels, regardless of anything, I feel like I've got to know Julia over the last sort of year, and she's incredibly headstrong. She's very much when she wants to do something, she's going to do it. But she also desperately just wants answers. And I think, oh, and I'll say this again, there has been, I have made it public and very vocal to Julia about anytime she's talked about coming here or things like that. Like, it's just, you know, she just needs to not do that. And you can only say something. You can, I mean, what's the old saying about horses to water in that? But timing seems to be a bit interesting in what I refer to as the headline war that goes on right now. I know this isn't necessarily about Fia, but isn't it interesting that we're now seeing the press jump on a new girl who also claims that she has DNA and evidence connecting to this family? Why? Why now? Why, when I put Julia's name into Google, am I getting this? Did Dr. Phil and Fia set her up? I mean, I get very, very, very ulterior motive vibes from the whole 2023 era, and anyone who was involved in that chapter for distraction. Oh well. Oh, you currently get the gold star. Okay, you currently get the gold star, Mariana, for the day. Congratulations. Okay, you can go and tell all your friends that you got the gold star, which means nothing. But congratulations, you have it. What do you think, Sheena? Do we think that we are within our rights to form an opinion that possibly there may have been narratives at play within the Dr. Phil experience or episode, shall we say, and Dr. Fia?
Yeah, for sure. I still, yeah, I don't know. And I believe that was one of his last shows with Julia. That was, I think, his last final show.
Okay.
Which is pretty interesting.
I mean, I think, is Dr. Phil not still running?
I don't know. Not as far as my knowledge. As far as I know, that was his last show. I could be wrong.
I mean, you might be wrong on that. It might have been that series or that year. I mean, again, you could be totally right. But, you know, I don't know. I think so. I mean, but again, I don't know. He's literally a meme lord on the internet. So it maybe just be a long line of meme lineage. Okay, so you have got videos as well, right? So 1 second. All right. So again, everybody, this might be a bit choppy in and out. Sheena has got parental duties that she's doing in the background, so it's very, very kind of her to still give us her time. So this is the first one, right? Okay. 1 second. And then we should be able to do this, which does nothing. Fabulous. So we'll keep it like this. All right. Proof no DNA from Polish parents and then blocked. All right. So let's take a look at this.
Okay, guys, she's now calling her mother to ask her to come and do a DNA test gently and right now. So far, she's not answering the phone. She's not answering the text. And by law in Poland,
Hello?
Wybrany numer jest w tej chwili niedostępny. Po sygnale
She
nagraj
blocked me.
wiadomość.
she blocked her own daughter.
Wow.
And she also said to all people that she's not going to do any DNA tests.
Now we can call to.
So we have,
found our father.
can you call your father? We see the mother so far didn't answer. Block the numbers.
The same one.
Like, does anybody else get, like, if you took Forever 21, the store, and then like any cliche Russian spy and smashed those two things together, you would basically get what we just saw here, right? Because the least conspicuous detective in the world. I just want to point that out. Okay, don't ever go with the bright pink jacket when you're trying to lay low. You know what I'm saying? But at least we get a confirmation of how Julia's mum felt about this at the start, right? Because that's something that we've always asked. People have asked about why Julia's mother didn't do a DNA. And again, listen, I understand the whole concept of our daughter's not right. We want to get her the help. But was that help over medication? I mean, we can't hide from the doctor's records, right? And the medical records, or sorry, I should say, that Julia has allegedly said are hers and put forward. And this increasing of medication, the side effects they were having on her, surely it would have been a simpler answer to put this all to bed with a simple DNA, when the alternative seemed to be destroying the mind of this young lady. And it's interesting to see how her mother reacted there, allegedly. I mean, we assume she phoned her mother. We assume all of this isn't just staged. But what do you think? Side chat, let us know. Sheena, if you're there, just put your mic on. If you're doing parental stuff, don't worry. Oh no, you're back. There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just
right.
keeping baby boy occupied.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Honestly, thank you so much again for working around the little man. I think you've gone off. That's okay. Right. So again, at least we get a little answer there into the insight. And going by what we've read in the papers about Julia's mum and stepdad, they have gone into hiding. They're on the run. Even when Julia's mother's clothes shop staff members were asked, they were just given the statement of they've gone away for a little while. And this seems to be the repeat action again if we go through what is published in the papers. I'm not making any assumptions. I'm just going off what I've read. So, Christy, I do not have an answer on that for you. Lovely little doggo, though, I have to say. I don't know, Leslie. I don't think so. Maybe, though. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. You sometimes hear of people that just like sit in court hearings, right? I don't know if that's the US or if that's here. Forgive me and my lack of knowledge on that. Didn't it come out that Dr. Phil was dodgy and that's why he doesn't make TV shows anymore? Could possibly be Carrie Ann. In fact, it'll probably be solved with a very simple Google. Hang on a second. Let's have a look. Why was his show cancelled? Oh, in spite of its 2023 cancellation. Whoa. All right, this kind of falls in line with what Sheena was saying. So let's just educate ourselves on the wonderful doctor here. All right, 1 second. Once upon how big is this? That's fine. Right, okay. In fact, let me put his wonderful, wonderful face here. Like this. Uh 1 second. All right. All right. Yeah, there is ads all over this, man. It is a freaking nightmare. So there's not much to see. I'm having to read it like line by line here. Millions of you. Oh no, wait. Once upon a time, Dr. Phil McGraw ruled the airwaves. At its peak, his talk show, Dr. Phil, was the most important talk show in America. It regularly drew millions of viewers and still plays in repeats across the land, in spite of its 2023 cancellation. When McGraw pulled the plug on the series, he was still pulling in 2 million viewers, coming in second on what was then Live with Kelly and Ryan, but he chose to exit the program for primetime pastures, battling rumors of advertiser loss, accusations of guest exploitation, including the late actor Shelley Duvall, and a BuzzFeed article detailing alleged employee abuse. This has been an incredible chapter of my life and career, but while I'm moving on from daytime, there is so much more I wish to do. Oh, God. Hang on. So much more I wish to do. Come on. Sorry, that an advert loaded. Incredible chapter of my career, but moving on. There's so much more I wish to do. Oh, God. No, I can't see that bit. Hang on. Sorry, everyone. Why is it not showing me the bottom of this article? What's going on? There we go. Passion, whatever it is. So much more. I'm compelled to engage with a broader audience because I have grave concerns for the American family. I'm determined to help restore clarity of purpose as well as core values, said Dr. Phil in a press statement as printed by Global News. Indeed, he has done just that. In 2024, Dr. Phil launched Merit Street Media, a streaming network available through multiple cable outlets and over the internet for free with ads, with the support of Trinity Broadcast Network, a longtime stalwart among Christian cable networks. Okay. It concentrates on the talk show format. Merit Street Media airs repeats of Steve Harvey's talk show, Steve, and shows from Nancy Grace, amongst others. Right, that's great. So, yeah, it was cancelled in 2023, but they're not really getting true reasons behind it all, other than the employee alleged employee abuse rumors and exploitation of guests. Gee, I wonder who else could be thrown in with that. So that was the question I was just answering. I don't know. Michelle Rogers, I can't put your question up because of certain things you're saying. Okay, so here is a theory. Stay with me. The McCanns used. What if the agency? Okay, yeah, could be. There could be any number of like really, really out there things, right? But we're not here to speculate, sadly. Okay. 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 Hang on a minute. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let me just double check something here. Something about his wife. 21 seasons, man. I mean, that is. Yeah. Do you think maybe he was just given a quiet exit? I think that's what happened. I think this is a classic case of like the sweeping things under the rug and keeping it quiet. Yeah, this is wild. Give me 1 second. Sheena, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. All right. So honestly, that first video that you sent,
Mhm.
that's a great one because again, there was people asking about the DNA with the parents and things like this. But we've got an Earth 3 loaded here. So do you want me to start at the top and work my way down?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. All right. So this is a live stream, it would appear, from Dr. Fia. Is that right?
Yes, that was a lot of her lives. These are just like little snippets from her lives when she used to do them.
Okay, right. Nice one. Let's have a wee look here.
To work, as the mother has to work, and the grandma and that step grandfather has to come to the house, 2 hours driving, staying with Julia for a month, as the mother should work. And of course, step grandfather would be alone with Julia for hours. So Julia said she
I need to pause this. The way this woman, can we speed this up? Because this is, yeah, we can. Apologies, everyone.
doesn't remember, and she still can't remember too much things that she went through because of those 35 pills a day, which came 1 month after what she said to the mother, that I'm scared of this guy and I need help. I got hurt. It's hurting me. I don't like it when I get hurt. Can you ask him to stop? So Julia tried with every possible body languages, emotions, to notify the mother that I'm in danger. And this guy told me, if I'm going to tell anyone, he's going to kill me and he's going to hurt me and he's going to do more. The mother didn't done anything. So imagine, in between the 7 years until the age of 9, she had no choice to take those pills and be quiet and always be there for that man, which is at this moment is 82 years old, to let him do whatever he wanted to do. And 2 of those times, as the mother.
Damn. Okay. So, Sheena, if I'm right or am I wrong here, we're talking about Dr. Fia talking about the memories that Julia has of her upbringing and the horrificness that took place there, right?
That's correct.
And she is then recounting what Julia said to her mother had happened when she was a young girl, right?
Yes, that's right.
I don't like to be hurt, Mom, all of this stuff. And without saying the right words, I mean, we're talking about some pretty horrendous memories of abuse, right?
Yes, lots of essay from the step grandfather, her being pretty much drugged with all those medications that she did cover in one of the parts. I can't confirm how many pills. I don't know if some of the things Fia has said here is exaggerated. It's a long time ago, you guys, so I have to revisit a lot. And I also have to counter with what Julia has told me and confirmed with me. But I can confirm the abuse happened. I can confirm she was 100% medicated with very questionable medicines for her age as a child.
When you say that you can confirm the abuse happened, I mean, we can confirm through Julia's memories, or how are we confirming that?
Yes, and court documents, because he was charged.
And he was charged. Okay.
Yeah.
Just repeat that again. So there is court documents that back up this horrific.
Yes, I can confirm there are court documents. I believe she posted it. So let me pull them up today and I can send that over.
Yeah, sure.
And we can show them tomorrow, because she did put this up herself. I believe, yeah, he was charged, he was jailed, and he did have to pay her mom money, a lump sum of money.
Okay, good. So this is what she's talking about here. And she's trying to emphasize her mother's inability to grasp the reality, right? Our disbelief in the situation and our lack of interest in helping.
Yeah.
Just unreal. So people are talking about, I wish you could explain her body language. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is I'd quite like to just rewatch this one more time. In fact, we hadn't even finished this. I thought it was ended. I beg your pardon. I'd just like to put this back to the beginning again and play through this. Apologies, everybody. It is at 1.25 full speed because it was too slow. So,
yeah, a lot of the videos, unfortunately, we can't speed them up, or I couldn't shorten them, because I want the public to be able to see exactly what was happening back in 2023. So some of it is 2-3 minutes, others is 4-5. It's extracted from like a 3-hour long live.
Wow.
It's
wild. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, well, let's watch through this. This one's 3 minutes long. I just think it paints a very, very good picture of how involved Dr. Fia was with Julia. It showcases the times where she was fighting for Julia's cause, and it shows just how much of a different path she's on now, because it's a pretty intense story, especially when the police involved, the taking of passports, powers of attorney, a huge potential global story about a missing girl, and this want for control over all of it coming from certain individuals from that time in Julia's life. So let's just hear once again. Yeah, let's hear again.
Every possible work, as the mother has to work, and the grandma, and that step-grandfather has to come to the house, 2 hours driving, staying with Julia for a month, as the mother should work. And of course, step-grandfather would be alone with Julia for hours. So Julia said she doesn't remember, and she still can't remember too much things that she went through because of those 35 pills a day, which came 1 month after what she said to the mother, that I'm scared of this guy and I need help. I got hurt. It's hurting me. I don't like it when I get hurt. Can you ask him to stop? So Julia tried with every possible body languages, emotions, to notify the mother that I'm in danger. And this guy told me, if I'm going to tell anyone, he's going to kill me and he's going to hurt me and he's going to do more. The mother didn't do anything. So imagine, in between the 7 years until the age of 9, she had no choice to take those pills and be quiet and always be there for that man, which is at this moment is 82 years old, to let him do whatever he wanted to do. And 2 of those times, as the mother has to work and the grandma and that step-grandfather has to come to the house, 2 hours driving, staying with Julia for a month as the mother should work. And of course, step-grandfather would be alone with Julia for hours.
Damn. So we've got people in the side chat saying, you know, how can Fia say that? The mother was the one who called the police, all the rest of it. Do you think that we're seeing a narrative being painted to alienate the family if the facts don't line up with that? Sheena, what's your take on...
I'm almost sure, again, I need to just revisit this and make sure that I'm right with what I'm about to say. But allegedly, I'm sure it was the teacher who went to the police.
Okay. Interesting. Right, let's take a look at the next video. This one here, we've got limited edition Dr. Fia today. And this one, all right, let's see how we do. You're speechless. I beg to differ. Let's find out.
2009. First of all, Julia's...
I can't with her sometimes. Like, what are we watching? What are those awards in the background? Are those awards in the background? There's so much.
I think so.
So much that my ADHD wants to unpack just in this single frame. Like, it's this... Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
In 2009, first of all, Julia's medical chart is pretty thick, heavy duty,
Epic music.
and there is no diseases that she did
There's
not
no
have
disease
to save her life. That's how you took care of your daughter.
Come on.
2009,
What was that? Pause. Oh my God.
February 17. The doctor said, we have to do surgery in his brain, as there is a nerve
Brain.
that got blood clot.
Julia's.
What is Blunt Clark? Right, we need to go back. I need to go back.
Julia's brain. She said his. She meant her.
So what? Okay, so she's talking. So basically, what you're saying is she's talking about Julia. I'm going to play this back through again a little bit faster without me interrupting. I'm sorry. I keep going side quest on this. Like you just.
In 2009.
Okay.
First of all, Julia's medical chart
Julia's medical chart. Okay.
is pretty thick, heavy duty.
Yep.
And there is no diseases that she did not even have to.
What diseases?
That's how you took care of your daughter.
That's how you.
2009, February
Right.
17. The doctor said, we have to do surgery in his brain,
Her brain.
as there is a nerve
There's a nerve.
that got blood clot.
They got blood clot.
And it shows that she can't walk, and they have to train her to walk. Wow.
There's a blood clot in her brain, and you need to train it.
How? She stopped walking. Let me tell
God, she fucking honestly, this honestly freaks me out sometimes. This woman. What is this music? It's probably yeah. So Julia, her brain. What do you take from that, Sheena? Because
So again, I have to go back and revisit because here's the deal. So when Fia came along, Fia took over for a long time. We had to listen to everything she was the closest thing to Julia. So we were constantly, she would go live for like 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. And by the way, a lot of that stuff is now apparently been scrubbed since 2 days ago. So I'm getting these things in pieces. I know I need to go back in my stuff, but from what I know, I don't know if some things are exaggerated, but what I do know is that she did lose her capability of walking.
Yeah.
And she had to be retrained on that. I cannot
Yep.
remember the reason. I know Julia did tell me. I just need to go back to my previous stuff.
So again, I just want to say to everyone that says she's out here talking BS, right? Not you, Sheena, Dr. Fia. The first video answered the question about allegedly why, if Julia has asked her parents, we had that answered. Then in the second one, you heard the true story of what Julia went through as a child. And now you're hearing the outrage of Julia's medical reports. So Dr. Fia is saying the same things as you would say or I would say currently, right? She's in the I support Julia phase and giving us all the same facts, right?
Yes,
Big
you're
shout out to you.
seeing how she was supportive. You're seeing how she had Julia's back. And
yeah, right.
Eventually I'll show you the complete 180 shift.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
again,
seeing literally where we're at.
Yeah, and I think it's really, 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 really important that you understand that we want to paint a true picture of Julia's experience with Dr. Fia, because a lot of people in the side chat for a while have been like, who is this woman? Why is she saying these things? And all the rest of it. And yeah, we want to paint this true picture, but trust me, we're cooking. All right. We're heading towards somewhere. Okay. All right. We're cooking. All right. Cooking to the truth. Let me get the next one. So, oh wow, the this woman, man. Okay, so be kind, be respectful, because Fia is going after anyone saying slanderous things. You do not get anywhere by being disrespectful. Julia W, Madeline M, latest DNA updates. Follow for more. I'm going to actually come after them with a lawyer, and here we go.
I'm going to actually come after them with my lawyer, which I think is now a couple of months that did not really work so much. So I think that he would love now to get involved with a lot of you guys out there, especially now when I do have the power of attorney of Julia. Now I can make a decision who I want to go after first and how we have to really figure it out, the evidence and everything that this person said that maybe they had or they don't. So again, as I said again, I am a very calm and cool person. I can be very funny. I can be very, very, very fun to be friends with. But if you say something or bite me, or in anyhow disrespecting me, or in anyhow trying to speak about something that you don't have any evidence about it, and trying to trash someone's credibility in some point somewhere, especially Julia at this moment, then you are not only dealing with Julia that maybe not having money to come after people. Because I'm a power of attorney right now, so I have a responsibility about the situation. So again, when you open your mouth out there, just be careful what you are talking, because it's not only me that's watching you right now, my lawyer, and basically 3 of his paralegal people who are working 24 hours and 7 days, watching all those online comments. And also we are now point out whom and when and how, and we go through every single of them, and it sounded like he's going to be ready by the next week, as he promised me by Wednesday, to start to do some good communication with you guys that really posting stuff, commenting stuff, sending slanders, accusations, and also spread lies about Julia. When it comes to the Diana Cardoso, and Gabrielle and other person, Joe Ward, the investigator and also the detective is actually checking on them. So yeah, I believe that I said enough tonight about like what's going to happen, but I feel like you guys need to be happy, especially all fans and followers for Julia that really love Julia and wants to see that Julia really succeed. And at this moment,
Did she just wipe her nose and then wipe her hand in her hair?
that really love Julia and wants to see that
Wipe
Julia
it in the
really
hair. Wipe it in the
succeed.
hair. Yes,
And
my
at this
guy. Right. So listen. Trust me when I say that this woman has made so many statements about mental health, how the haters have have affected Julia's mental health, about how she's a doctor. All right. In fact, let me bring up the quotes from yesterday so that I don't misquote this wonderful lady. Again, I respect everyone's opinion as long as it is respectful and as long as it is not hurting anyone emotionally. Julia's mental health is not okay due to a lot of comments and a lot of nastiness that went directly to her. These are things that Dr. Fia used to say. And when we look back at yesterday's postings and the changing of her entire attitude, we have to assume that she has either come across some huge big secret or maybe things just didn't go according to plan. Because I imagine anyone who ever was to come up against the thought of being able to control Julia definitely must have got it wrong. Because Julia's statement that we read out yesterday paints a very different picture. And when did you first see the sort of the start of the downfall of the relationship, Sheena?
I think it must have been when she had called the cops.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe right after the 23andMe DNA. Now, Fia also claimed 3 DNA tests were done, and I'm yet to still see the other 2.
Yeah. And do you think that she underestimated Julia? Do you think she underestimated Julia's?
Yeah, I think she thought she was not
Yeah.
strong enough. Julia's a resilient woman.
Oh yeah.
She's the strongest person I've ever known. And I think she underestimated and thought she was weak. I don't know what her agenda was with her. It's very questionable.
Well, here's the thing. When we look at just how incredible a job of destroying Julia's credibility is what came next, right? That was after she left the USA. That was really the beginning of the end for that chapter for Julia.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I've been honest with everyone. When I initially set up the interviews for, to talk to Julia, I 100% thought I was about to meet the 2023 press version of Julia. 100%. Right? I hadn't spoken to her at this point, nothing. And I thought, oh, this is maybe a really bad idea. I think this could be a really bad idea. And then took about 15 or 20 minutes for me to realize, wait a minute, this is not lining up here with what people are saying about this girl. And it doesn't take you long to realize how much of a slanderous job that the media done and the press did back then on Julia. It was almost an overkill scenario,
Yeah, I can 100% believe that.
Hang on a second. Does the police involved with the investigation have blood samples found by the? So I do believe in the Operation Grange report, Jeremiah, it is Jerry's DNA, saliva, and hair. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. If you check the Daily Mail article, type in Julia Wandelt DNA results, Daily Mail, you'll get the full story and you can get the quotes directly there. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I don't get the impression that either we're looking at a lady who talks a big game, talking about Dr. Fia, or she's very well versed in dealing with people and their opinions on the internet. She doesn't strike me as somebody who looks like she's short of a few contacts. So I imagine her reach and ability to push a narrative could be higher than most. I don't know. I think the switching of teams is pretty incredible. To go from being so outwardly spoken and positive and so on ball, on side, to then just jump ship and paint this narrative that it's all to do with Julia and DNA and all the rest of it, when nothing's ever been put out from these tests, right? We're talking about hearsay. So you have to now decide, do you believe Dr. Fia? Because I personally, in my opinion, I have very big doubts in her narrative. I'm just being honest. I think there's a lot more to this story than either side is letting on. Did she get paid off? I don't know. She's clueless, mate. Doesn't even have the nerves to get blood clots done. Even no nerves don't get blood clots. I don't know if that was a hard one for my brain to take in. Welcome, Pity. Thank you for subscribing. If you don't know, that's what happens when you subscribe to my channel. So whilst I'm reading out your comments, if any of you want to go and subscribe on my channel, you'll see your little name appear here. Okay, so here's an interesting one. Nanny Lanny loves to craft. Also love to craft too, Nanny Lanny. I'm about master level of leather work. Okay, we need to take over. 1 second, D Docker A. I'll just star that and we'll come to that in a second. Hang on a second. Okay. And MC, I'll get to yours too. Okay, so why is Julia in prison and not a mental health unit? MSM claims she's mentally ill. Are they not failing her under duty of care? I don't know. I never got any mentally ill vibes from Julia with, well, I mean, not dangerous levels, you know, or not like hallucinatory, I'm living in a fantasy world, delusional. But then again, you hear stories of people who live next door to people, marry people, all of it. And they're like, you know, I would know, right? But you just don't know. You just don't.
She's very stable. She
Yeah.
has worked her butt off to get, and her growth is undeniable. She worked her behind off to get to this point. But certain people like to weaponize the trauma. Of course, anybody who's been through the level of things she's been through is going to have stuff. She's human at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm just saying, because a lot of people might have their questions answered on how crazy Julia is by where she's currently imprisoned. You just never know. Doctor, not Dr. Docherty, D Doctor, not D Doctor either. D Docherty has some concerns about Sinclair. Doesn't know if she can put her faith in him. I will say, anyone's past that I've not really had time to sort of go and pick around and have a look in. from my interactions, everything's pretty okay. But at the same time, you just don't know anybody. You just never know. You just never know, man. That's going to be my life mantra now. You just don't know. You know, you like, you know, even Durex don't give you 100% assurance, okay? Because you just don't know. All right, 99.9%. It's just that one little. You just don't know anyone. You know, you just don't know anyone. But that doesn't mean, that's not me saying put doubt on anyone. I'm just saying that those are the facts. I'm a doctor. I got my badge from the same place Fia did. Oh, that was good. That was good. Do you know what? You get the silver star of the day. That was a belter. That was an absolute belter. Okay. Well, that's a very interesting one, Nathalie. But the chimeras have to have it's twins. So in cases of chimeras who have two different forms of DNA, it's non-identical twins who reabsorb in the womb, but the foundations of the biology of the new person, right, are half of one DNA and half of the other. A very famous case of a woman in America who had her children taken off of her, went through the courts, all because her DNA did not match her children's in any way, shape, or form because of the location the DNA was taken. It's wild. Go and look into it. You think this is crazy. You think you've heard it all. Dive into the world of the real life, medically sanctioned chimeras. So I do believe it would need to be twins, right? But I'm just saying that's one. Uber Fuber, yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Silver Star, yay! My guy, my gal, my guy, my person. I don't know. Fiona, you're probably a lady, so my G. Let's go. Julia needs and deserves the answer she seeks. Getting more confused every day, even though I'm watching the podcast. If it makes you feel any better, Kelly, I feel like that most days too. She is a very talented and intelligent lady. And has all the brilliant evidence you gathered been deleted? I hope not. No, if you're talking to Sheena, I believe Sheena has got the fun task of going through 3.5 years worth of screenshots. So that'll be a fun one. Nothing quite like the panicking screenshots of your past self coming back to haunt your current self. I've been there. Brutal. So Julia's still in the same position as she was the last time. Allegedly, some of the other individuals involved have been corresponding with some of the legal team, but that's all just verbal chitty yappa yappas. So I don't know. Are you there, Sheena?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, that's fine. I can't remember that the question was that I just asked you. I don't know if you were listening. If so, but if you weren't, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I lost you there.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry. 1 second. Let me just check this. Yeah, big shout out to Dan. I hope you're having a nice time out in the park as well. Okay. Mira Jade Winnowayeka. Whoa. I'm going to try that again. Winnowayeka. Let's go with that. Winnowayeka. Let's go with that. If Julia goes to a hospital, they can hold her in debt. Right? See, that is the nightmare conclusion, Mara Jade, right? And we've not really talked about it openly, Sheena, but that was literally the first or second thing we said to each other, right? Was if there is any suspiciousness using certain mental health acts that are in the UK could put her in a very, very, very horrific situation, worse than she's in now. Because the horror story would be, people, in this scenario, if you had somebody who, let's say, they could prove wasn't all there, okay? They could lock them away in a hospital and put the whole trial or whole legal case on pause until I don't even know what I don't even know how to finish that sentence, until they're cured, until they're, I don't know. But this is, you've all seen movies. I mean, goddamn, some of you have listened to Jaguar Wright. You know, putting you in a place like this, trying to medicate you and throw away the key is how they silence people.
Right.
I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying Julia falls under those circumstances. I'm just saying it's a point of conversation from the public side chat here, public opinion. I'm just commenting on it. But it was something that in the back of our minds, it was a bit of a worry, right?
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest scenario. Yeah, I imagine so. Do you know, I've never seen that movie. I think I did try to watch it once and I passed out. If Julia is lying, why don't they give her a lie detector and prove them wrong? Because here's the thing, right? In fact, no, let's not comment on that. Let's just read your question and move on, because then that's the best way of doing things.
Honestly, a simple DNA test would have nipped this in the bud a long time ago.
From the Polish realm of this, we don't even have to come across the sea for a DNA.
No, and that's where it all started. It started off by the Polish side denying it or declining it.
Right, that's a good point. She didn't just jump in with 2 feet going, it's time to go ask the other family in question. She did start off with her mother, which is interesting because, and I quote her mother as yesterday as saying, we did everything in our power for Julia. She had a wonderful...
Yeah, sorry. Any mother would, yeah, it would be like a, what? Why are you asking me for a DNA? But I would do it. 100% I would do it for my child. I think the chat would confirm, like, if your child were to ask you for a DNA test just to put your child's mind at ease, would you do it or would you deny it?
Well, there's 2 ways of looking at it, right? If we're talking about, I mean, I'm not being funny. If your child says that to you and they're just sort of half joking, make a fun day out of it, right? But if it's somebody who clearly needs the answers because she has a deep belief that she does not know who she is, then of course you do it. You know, you sit down with extreme confidence, right? That you are about to present, because you remember her leaving your area, okay? You remember it, you know that you gave birth to her, whatever, right? With confidence, right? So, yeah, I'm Patricia. I'm 100% too, 100% with you on there. I think Miss Stalker is firing some of her findings. Yep, interesting. 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 Thank you for the input there, D. Thank you very much. We need to know who is representing Julia and who appointed them. I don't know. You see, I used to get a lot of phone calls from Julia, right? And I imagine you're the same, Sheena. Oh my God, this person's got in contact with me. They say they can do this. They say they can do that. Da, 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 da. And then the next day, oh, that person's no longer talking to me, or they've disappeared, or whatever, right? I mean, were you privy to a lot of those conversations, Sheena?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes she'd get excited about somebody and I'd be like, come on, you can't be serious. You can smell the rat here, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
you'd kind of have to point it out for her. Other times she would learn a hard lesson and all the rest of it. But there was always a kind of like build up. There was always a little bit of like, oh, you know, I'm on a journey with this, or here I'm going to tell you about that. Hang on a second. Dab, we're literally just talking about stuff that's in the news, mate. If I'm being honest with you, there's no nothing. It's just stuff that's in the news, stuff that's already been published, screenshots that are already out there, things that have been previously published. I know it might all sound like we're talking about new stuff, but we're really, really not.
Just replaying 2023.
Yeah, replaying 2023, and anything that's in the newspapers, like all the quotes that I'm making just now are from publications these people have made. I'm not making assumptions. We're not jumping to conclusions. The public are very welcome to ask questions because free speech and your ability to have a free thought. But yeah, there's other than I would say things like me saying I did not in any way, shape, or form feel like Julia was not capable of making coherent decisions. I fully believe that, you know. But again, you just don't truly ever know someone, you know. I don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm special in any way that I'm completely, you know, oblivious to outcomes that none of us would see coming. I'm just a normal guy. Where is the psychic doctor now? Psychic detective. All right. Psychic detective. Doctor psychic detective. All right. She's doing her thing. I do believe that she had mentioned, or someone had mentioned to me, allegedly, that she's saying now that she wants to come to the UK and do everything she can to destroy the evil doer that is the Titan of Julia Wandelt. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Yeah, she did Wolves in France. Yes. Listen, okay, so is Discord safe? So, Catherine, here's a way of imagining it. The Discord is a public Discord, all right? Which basically means it's as safe as any car park you've ever been in your life, okay? So, just keep that in mind. It's as safe as any other public place in the world. So, imagine if you type something in the general chat of a public Discord, it's the equivalent of standing and screaming at the top of your lungs in a public place. Okay? So think about what you're screaming out loud in a public place. Do you see what I'm saying? Because everyone's going to see and hear it. Whereas if you find a quiet corner and you meet some like-minded people and you have a quiet conversation, then that's a little less public, if you will. So that's that's the best way of sort of putting it like that. Have open discussion, sure, but every, you know, don't go like on a paranoia spiral. Okay, don't worry about that. Don't go on a freaking like, you know, I cannot talk to anyone. Everyone is the enemy. Boom, boom, boom. Don't be like that either. Like, find a healthy balance. No. And that's the public Discord, not my private Discord. That mother fudger's locked down. And some of you will be getting filtered over there. Okay. As a parent, if a parent has a chimerism, their reproductive self, oh my word. I didn't think about it. And again, this is nothing to do with anything, all right? If a parent has a chimerism, the reproductive self might carry different DNA, leading to lower than expected match with their child. Means someone's mother could be a twin of someone else. Interesting. And again, personally, that's fascinating because of the biology and the science. What is this question? Right. So, Sasha. So, according to Sheena, and apologies, Sheena obviously can speak for herself, but I'm trying to learn this. So, we do believe that after Julia got kind of fed up with the the fact that her passport, her power of attorney, and her phone were in Fia's possession, after being denied being able to contact certain people, she called the police. Julia called the police on Fia, and then the police have turned up, and the two of them have went separate ways. And I do believe that was it, right? It was Julia would no longer be controlled, which then in return meant that Fia was no longer in control of narratives, and then the two of them just became mortal enemies. I mean, is that like the summary, the cliff
Pretty
notes
much.
version? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. I know Fia made her sign something she didn't know what she was signing before being able to leave. She wasn't going to let her go without signing whatever that was. I don't know if it's an NDA. I'm not sure what that is. Julia has no idea what she signed, but she just wanted to get back to Poland.
Hang on a second. Yeah, Uber Fuber, are you on Discord? If you're not on Discord, can you just like join Discord and message me, please? Because that sounds very interesting, and that is the sort of people, that is the kind of skill sets that we like to hear about. So yeah, sweet. Uber is on Discord. Nice. All right, sweet. Kaza, that is your homework to make sure I don't forget about all this. I do appreciate that. Sweet, mate. Right, wicked. Well, that's going to be a fun afternoon. I blocked him by accident. There's a Discord as well for everybody. Keep in mind, it's a public Discord. All right? Don't be saying or doing anything you're liable for. Okay? Make some friends. Make some judgments on friends. But just remember, 99.9%. Okay? Just remember that. Can we get Julia out of prison? Fia can fling her hook. And I'm getting censored. We're all getting censored, Nessa. Welcome to YouTube in 2025, where you can say about 8 words. Signing under duress and not understanding the language makes her signature null and void anyway. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting one. So I would think that I could argue the not understanding the language. Could we push for duress on that? Do you think duress is something we could say when Julia's fled with her? I mean, would that be one of those like, well, your actions don't line up with, or your feelings don't line up with your actions, sort of thing that the courts might argue? And again, I don't know what courts we're talking about. I'm just breaking down what you said here. But certainly, I would definitely go with the language thing 100%. I mean, I would, as a friend, I would definitely say duress as well, but I'm trying to be level-headed here.
Yes, I mean, she was desperate to get out of that situation, so I think that could be challenged for sure.
Well, here's another thing. Actually, desperate as well for answers. So maybe not duress, but vulnerable or something like that. Allegedly, possibly, maybe Fia's super cool and awesome.
She was cornered. You think about it. I mean, she wanted back, right? And allegedly, Fia said you have to sign this documentation before you can even think about leaving the United States.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't even know what the heck she signed. She just did it so she can get away.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, the whole situation. It really, really is. I'm just going through all of this. Dr. Fia needs a psych evaluation. I agree. Maybe. But I'm more interested in where her doctorate is. Because I personally think none of us can put our hands up and say that there's nothing fishy going on with this. And I feel the extreme reaction is what has made me question a lot about whether this woman, obviously this woman hasn't moved on. But how vocal was she about Julia before it hit the mainstream again? Does that make sense?
I believe she kind of died down after that situation and tried to, like, I don't know, it looked like she was, like isolating herself from the situation until very recent.
Well, Dap, here's the thing. How old was Julia in 2021? Like 19, 18, 19?
2021? Yeah, about 19, 2023. I know she was allegedly 21.
Allegedly.
Allegedly 21. Could be 19, could be 21.
Okay. Thank you, Billy Joe. I'll check on that as soon as I'm done. I appreciate that. Yeah, Fia claimed to be power of attorney for Julia. Yeah, we know that too. But it seemed to be more about control of narrative than really anything else. That's the kind of feeling I get. But again, you just never know. I commented and then got censored. Nessa, I don't know what you're saying to get censored. Sounds like her mom had money having her own business, but wasn't like, yeah. Well, that's what we're saying, Sarah. So yesterday when we read the alleged interview about, or not the interview, but the story about Julia's biological, whatever you want to call them, parents. They talked about this lavish apartment that they lived in, this gated community, private schools, getting Julia all the help that she could, all the rest of it. But for some reason, just like Operation Grange and all the other individuals who are from official parts of Julia's life or story, they just want to deny the DNA. Like, just deny it. Flat out. Her parents, the Operation Grange, everything. Have anything you want but that. Have anything you want. Anything at all. But just not that. Right?
Yeah, and call her crazy at the same time.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, throw in some of that too, of course. Delusional, manipulative as well. Don't forget all these things. And it just seems to me like this is a massive headline war. We've seen, but then again, though, it's a bit of a fishy situation if I start saying I think it's maybe a bit of a headline war, because then that sort of includes a narrative of someone having to get Julia over here.
Right.
But the thing
Yeah.
is, the people who are involved with Julia behind the scenes, the friends, like, they're all right. Like, I can't see them being part of some evil plot. But again, 99.9%. But they're very much like, if you know the terminology, like civvies, right? They're normal people, they're civilians, right? So how prevalent are they to manipulation tactics? How prevalent are they to so many things that people get lured in by? How many other players are involved in this that we don't know about? Because we both know that there's at least one, right? And what are their parts in all this? Because I think I've gotten to the bottom of why Julia was coming over here.
Mhm.
And it has absolutely no timeline relevance with Sinclair. None. None. So it's just all very confusing. It's just all very, very confusing.
Just say that last part again real quick.
Like, the reasons for Julia coming here,
Yeah.
right, that I'm trying to, get to the full bottom of, I'm 99% sure they predate Sinclair's involvement.
I don't necessarily know if that is accurate.
I don't know either,
Yeah.
right? But
because it was quite a spur of the moment trip.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it though?
Yeah. Who knows?
No, was it though? Because if I hit you with a was it though, there's just non-public receipts, right? So she was here to do something, right? And there's a paper trail of that something, bookings, payments, all of that, right? And I need to finally connect the dots on some timelines here to fully put my stamp on what I've said there. So you put doubt in my head now that I'm remembering something wrong. So I'll double check some things and confirm it, right? But I do think, God, I don't know. But I want to get to the bottom of it, and I'm working on it, everybody. Like, I really, really am. So Laura May, what is Fia planning? I don't know. I do believe that she has or has not. This is just all allegedly, is that she wants to come to the UK and make sure Julia never sees the light of day ever again, because she's such a super fan of Julia. I'm just reading Mary Agnes. Welcome. I'm just reading your question here. The family in question are nothing but okay. The family in question are nothing but selfishness. They were selfishness when they let their children go to dinner with friends without supervision. Told people for years they have been trying to cover. Interesting. I understand exactly what you're saying there. Thank you for being here. When did I first hear about the man in question there, Jamie Ely? Jamie Ely? When did I? Actually. When did I hear about him first? Round about the time the Daily Mail DNA story came out. Round about that time. Round about then. I started hearing about him around about then. So maybe I am wrong. Maybe Sheena is right.
I
Sheena,
just think there's a lot to consider. That's all.
Sheena,
Yeah.
you might be right. Okay.
I'm not saying anything because
I'm not saying anything either.
I don't know either, okay? But I have questions.
I will have some questions.
And I just don't, I'm trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah. So
you must also think, like, I have so much doubt from 2023. The biggest lesson I learned was not to just take some spokesperson's opinions as fact. So I'm operating from a whole different side of the coin.
You're damaged goods, Sheena. Right? You have got traumatic past when it comes to public representatives and powers of attorney, right? So I get you. But and again, to me, it makes way more sense if the man in question isn't on board, that it makes way more sense to have kept me as far away from him as possible. Like he just wouldn't entertain me. And
yeah, fair point.
Multiple times he's handed me information that isn't public at all and said you can't tell anybody this at all. Why would he do that? Do you see what I'm saying? So unless he's tested me because he knows I'm testing him, and he doesn't think that I'm aware that he could be testing me because I'm testing him, unless it's a whole big psyop and we're just spy versus spy, but I don't think it is. I'm not talking about Fia there, by the way. I said the man in question. I wasn't talking about Fia there. I'm well aware, right? I'm very much aware of the Fia situation. I just wanted to take some time this week and look at key players in the history of Julia, because history sometimes repeats itself, but oftentimes we can learn. And there's so much just in the story of Julia before we even include any of this. And because of the outspokenness of Dr. Fia, who, by the way, I still extend an opportunity for you to come on the show and have your say 100%, because, you know, that would be interesting. But I think it's somebody like Sheena has got a good insight into this side. A lot of you were asking, and there will be a part 3 to all this, but it will be when Sheena's had the time to painstakingly go through thousands of screenshots, and we put together the third show for you guys. Courtney Almara, how you doing? Ambelina, how you doing? Dark Angel, what is happening? AG Glam and Crime, what is happening? I don't know. Can we really trust? I don't know. Can we trust anyone? I don't know. What? But here's another thing. Glam and Crime. We've got to discuss this from within the parameters of 0 other options. Okay? So it's not like we're discussing or arguing why this particular dessert is our favorite. It's the only dessert on offer, right? And maybe there's some bits in it as you get towards the back of it that are a bit mad, but I don't know. What other option is there? Tell me why we feel like we're even in a situation where we can be choosers. I just, and again, I don't even know what that means. Like, it's a very confusing one. But I didn't, like I say, I don't know if I would. I feel like from what the information I have, he's doing an all right job. Maybe, I don't know though. I mean, what do I really know? But he's given me no reason. He's given me no reason from his actions since I met him to question anything. But what does that mean? I mean, here we go. The paranoid delusions kick in. So I trust Sheena too. Yeah, I trust Sheena. So it's currently apparently so True Blue. It turned out that this is another bit of a twisted one. So when it comes to the lawyers, apparently the lawyer can't represent both of them. So that's what's going on. That's basically the big conspiracy. So I imagine it's just a second lawyer that's needing to be brought in. Human rights. If she's allegedly being officially denied DNA, the test care name. That's interesting. So the argument that by getting the scientific test done, that could acquit her from this case. That's an interesting argument. Because then it would prove that the intent or what the hell was it? The context or the intent wasn't harassment and stalking. It was something else. It felt that way. But again, like the lawyer in that video said, sometimes you might feel like you're being harassed when you're not. And sometimes you might not feel you're harassing when you are. But again, I'm not a legal guy. I'm just an idiot on the internet. So please remember that. But that was an interesting point, an interesting argument. You would think that from a lawyery point of view, that would be an interesting one to go down, because it really would set the whole tone for. And here's another thing. Could a judge not see it that way? Possibly, maybe. And knowing that some people's DNAs are on systems anyway, it wouldn't even be something that they would need to take a new thing for, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then again, is that how the law works? Is it like, is it more just about taking the tiny ant and slamming the book closed on it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, just don't know how this is gonna eventually play out.
Yeah. I don't know either. But I know that keeping a conversation at least going until we get new information, keeping an eye on these key players that say they're going to be out for Julia and all the rest. When we get close to anything and when you start pushing a narrative that splits the public, regardless of if it's the family in question or Julia that's in question, the split views, the different opinions, all of these things that shroud both sides of this case, the haters, the supporters are strong on each side. And, just be aware what battles you pick to put yourself out there. Make sure that if you're going to publicly defend or go and be outspoken about people, you do your due diligence on at least keeping yourself and your anonymity a little bit more safe, because there are people out there who are not like, they're a bit spicy. Do you know what I mean? And the internet has become a pretty wild place for people who get bees in their bonnets and who want to go and defend and fight a cause that no one's asked them to do. So just be aware that for every one of you who's passionate about Julia, there's someone who's passionate about the opposite of Julia. So just be aware how you put yourself out there, everyone, and keep yourself safe. I'm hoping, right? We're all kind of hoping that we're going to get some miracle news tomorrow, right? We're hoping that we're going to get badass results. We're going to get some sooner bail than April, and I'm hoping tomorrow I might be able to give you guys somewhat of an update on some of this. I just can't talk about it today, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to give you some more of an update. I really, really do. I don't want to just keep these shows going for the sake of keeping the shows going. But if you guys have got any questions, get them back in now. If I've not answered your question, re-ask them, because I've obviously missed them. I do now believe I have that, Jack. But apparently it's been requested to stay non-public. I imagine so that the hate mobs can't harass her where she is. Oh yeah. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about me, mate. You don't have to worry about me. You don't have to worry about me. I'm not. You don't have to worry about me. But yeah, I keep it to myself. I have no idea, Glam and Crime. No idea. The only time that the Facebook is quiet is when you're on, Ron. Nice. I'm glad that the Facebook community is apparently doing really well. So well done on that, Sheena. It's always fun being the head of the pyramid on something like this when you're the one who has to deal with a lot of the trash. I imagine you're having a super fun time with keeping your community locked down and stuff. So how's that all went for you?
It's a lot of work, lots of infiltrators to weave through, but it's the reason I did it was to bring awareness to who Julia truly is, and to debunk some lies, and just for like-minded people, her supporters, to be in one place. You know, if they have questions, open discussions can be made respectfully. It's always good to hear different opinions. I hold a place for that.
Yeah, 100%. Now, can I please get you all to give me some likes and some shares, right? It really does help, especially the shares and especially the likes. So please, if you can, let us know any questions that you have before we wrap up. Now, tonight, I'll be back later this evening with Awaken with Beverly Rhodes, our weekly show. Now, I think from next week or the week after, I'm merging the Cryptid show and the Awaken with Beverly Rhodes into a new weekly, longer running podcast covering 3 different things in the evening. A guest, a topic, and then practical stuff. But yeah, you all, has anyone talked personally with Julia? No, I haven't. So yeah, I just hope everyone's okay. I hope all of you are. Oh, frick. I hope all of you are, taking care of yourself and making sure you stay focused on this is about Julia getting answers. Honestly, right? If that's the only thing that is on our minds, then it's got very little to do with a famous family, because we can get our answer elsewhere. Does it clear up anything else? Not really. But I think we need to look at the lesser famous that you are, the less of a £20 million investigation. I just hope we get the answers that we want for this lady, or Julia. I really do, because this has gone so far. It's gone so far. You know, and whatever the outcome of her answers about who she is, she's going to need us all. You know, whatever that outcome is, and that's why we're all here. You know, so I think this is a good one. We're almost at an hour and 3/4. I think this is a good one to put a pin in for today. And the next time you see a FIA episode go up, we will be formulating the other side of the coin, which is more about what Julia's evidence is with regards to her true experience, and how this is quite an interesting showcase of how we don't really know anyone or what their intentions are, and take from that what you will. But certainly Julia does not deserve to be in a prison right now at all. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe if you take out the most famous missing girl in the world from this case, the arrest would never have been made. So anyway, listen, Sheena, thank you. Big shout out to your son. I hope he's having a great day too. I hope you guys go and have a great day, and thank you so much for giving us your time and doing the mum thing in the background. I really
I'll
appreciate
show
it.
you. This has been me, literally standing here like, sleep. Standing doing the show.
Oh my god.
My
Oh
back
god.
is broken.
Listen, if you've got kids, we have all been in this situation, whether it's cooking, whether it's like trying to get something organized in the house. We've all been there. It's too funny, man. That's the power of having the camera off. So look, Sheena, thank you so much.
You're
If you're back,
welcome. Thanks for having me.
go and get a cup of tea and a sit down. I'll speak to you after this.
Bye-bye.
Big shout out to my boy Joseph, my G. You have a great day, my guy, and to everyone else that's been watching. Thank you very much. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the Sean Atwood family. Hang on a second. Yeah. So thank you all for being here. Tonight, next podcast tonight is 8 o'clock, I think, or 7 o'clock. I can't remember. But we're back with Odette, I do believe, myself, Beverly. I'm going to be testing out some of my new skill sets, so come and join us. If you're into an evening of what the human mind is technically capable of, come and join us. It's some people's cups of tea. It's not other people's cups of tea. I completely understand that. I hope you come and give it a try. And I just want to say thank you all. Thank you to the community, man. See, you guys are just beautiful. Beautiful. Without you guys, again, I'm just a crazy person on the internet talking to a freaking monitor. So thank you for making this my job. And there's so much to come. There's so much to come. Oh my God. Oh my word. Yeah. So there is a new project that I've taken on that I can't talk about. But when I can talk about it, you're going to be like, whoa. Whoa. Exposing a whole bunch of nasties. Anyway, look, I'm bursting a wee. So it's time to go. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace out. My G's.